and welcome to the Normal to Formal podcast, episode number 7. I'm your host, Tia Young. I'm the founder of Tia Young Image and Etiquette. I help my clients learn the soft skills for success through professional development and etiquette training. This podcast is for people that want to increase their social skills and earning potential and grow from normal to formal. These skills will help you get ahead of your competition. The topic for today's podcast is Prelaunch Checklist to re-entering society. And I want to compare the similarities with my career as a flight attendant years ago when we had to do pre-flight checks. Florida has officially begun its reopening process with Governor DeSantis' slow phase approach. Today, Monday, May 4th, the governor's stay-at-home order was officially lifted, with his Phase 1 plan going into effect, allowing only certain businesses to open. Social distancing is still expected under this plan. Restaurants may offer outdoor seating with 6 feet between tables and indoor seating at 25% capacity. Some of my favorite restaurants that I really miss are Fleming's, Capitol Grill, and of course my mama's home cooking. So I can't wait to get back over there to enjoy some good food. So restaurants will be open, but it'll be at a fourth of what it normally would be at full capacity. Also, retail can operate at 25% of indoor capacity. Now, I love window shopping and sometimes just, checking out things on sale that might be at a 50 or 75% discount. And now I can kind of do that again. Schools must continue distance learning. My daughter Taylor is a senior in high school, and they've been told that there will be distance learning to the end of the school year. As before, all visits to senior living facilities are prohibited. We don't want to infect the elderly patients in those facilities that might have weakened immune systems. For hospitals, elective surgeries can resume. Bars, gyms, and personal services such as hair salons, massage parlors, and nail salons must remain closed. Now, those are some of the things at the top of my list because I normally get my hair done every other month and get my nails done every month. And I don't think people are going to recognize me by the time I re-enter in society fully because I'm going to have to change up my hair, and I've been doing my nails every few days, and I can't wait. Some state parks are reopening today with access to trails, day use areas, and beach access with limited facilities. Visitors are asked to practice social distancing with limit group sizes to 10 or less and stay 6 feet apart. Now, because I live in the Tampa Bay area, some of the beaches that will be open in Pinellas County, Manatee County, and Sarasota County. Beachgoers can return Monday today, but must stay 6 feet apart from others and not gather in groups larger than 10. The parking lots and restrooms will be open. Public playgrounds remain closed. There will be deputies, officers enforcing social distancing. So that's in Pinellas County beaches. If you feel sick, the Florida Department of Health has opened a COVID-19 call center at 866-779-6121, and agents will answer questions around the clock. Questions may also be emailed to them also. Now, I want to relate everything that's going to be reopening in phase 1, 2, and 3 because there are similarities to my days as a career with United Airlines as a flight attendant. Right out of college, I went into retail management for a year, but quickly realized I wanted to be out in the world and enjoying some traveling, some free traveling at that. So I applied to be a flight attendant and was hired by United Airlines way back in 1991. And one thing that I learned when I went through training, it was a 7-week process at that time to learn how to be a flight attendant. But what a flight attendant really does is safety. The main reason that flight attendants are there are for your safety. In the case of an emergency on the plane, or if they had to be an emergency landing, we had to be there to ensure that the passengers were safe. we had to get on the airplane a few minutes early to do our pre-flight safety checks. And we would check things like the oxygen tanks, the first aid kit, the fire extinguisher, flashlight, made sure the safety demonstration kit was there, check the jump seats, and also make sure we understood how to evacuate and open those doors if we had to in an emergency. Now, I want to share how each item on the checklist worked. First of all, we had a flight attendant handbook, probably about 200 pages or so, that we had to keep updated every month. So we would get pages, let's say about 10 to 20 pages every month, that we would have to change out the old and put in the new page, because there was always something being updated. They were called revisions. Just like your iPhone, they do updates on your iPhone or any kind of technology. It gets outdated pretty fast. So just think back then, I flew from 1991 to 2005, 14 years. So every month we had to do what's called revisions. And they will update any equipment or procedures that was in that book. Just like your iPhones today. What are you revising right now in your life, now that we're home? What are you changing for the better? What are you improving? I know for me, I'm getting more organized because I have the time to do so. My home office was a cluttered mess, and now I'm able to sit in here and do my podcast, know where my files are, have everything in place. Still a work in progress, but I've made so much progress, and now I'm not as stressed when I come in here to do work. I can actually sit down and enjoy my office. So think about the things that you can revise now that you have the time before you relaunch. A little more reading, a little more time with your family. Those kind of things are very, very important. And what kind of skill can you improve on or revise? Another thing that we checked, the first aid kit. And of course, that kit included things to help with any kind of scrapes or wounds, in bandages and ointments to if there's a passenger that needed that. And so we had to check to make sure the seals are on that first aid kit and that it hadn't been tampered with. So if we need it, we know everything was there. In some instances, we might need a doctor. So we will actually call for, is there a doctor on board if there was maybe something very, very serious where there was a heart attack or something happened to a passenger where we needed to land early. But before we landed, we need to make sure we took care of that passenger best we could. And we didn't have the expertise of a doctor. And so we would call one on an intercom to come and intervene. So first aid kit, what do you have as your kit before you launch back into society? Another thing on the list, fire extinguisher. Fires happen. We do have a no smoking policy on the airplanes, and there is a smoke detector in the bathrooms, but we do have also ovens on the airplane for meals. I know that's not common anymore to have hot meals on the airplane, but they're still used. There's coffee, and there's also heating elements for food that's being warm. And there's also might be fires on board. And there's an extinguisher to make sure we can put the fire out quickly. So our check would be to make sure the fire extinguisher is in place. We normally have them dispersed around the airplane, and they're latched in place properly, and they have the seal on to show that they haven't been used. Also, flashlight. There's a flashlight for every exit door stashed normally under the jump seat of the airplane. That's where the flight attendants sit for takeoff and landing, close to the door or the windows. That flashlight had to have a little blinking light to show that it is fully charged. And we would use that to see if the airplane lost lighting in an emergency or some kind of electrical outage. So in your life, what's your vision as you exit the stay-at-home order and now re-entering into society? What is your vision for the future? We also have the safety demo kit, and that's the kit that we use for manual safety demonstrations. Most airplanes now have the electronic video that you can see the safety demonstration where the exits are and how to put your seat back up and your seat belt on and tray tables and all the things you need to know before takeoff. So make sure you pay close attention to what you need to do in an emergency. Sometimes if you don't have that video, there is manual seatbelt extension, so we can show you how to put on and take off your seatbelt. We also show you where the oxygen comes from in the case of decompression on the airplane, and how to grab that, put it on yourself first before you help anyone else. So make sure if you do see the oxygen mask fall from the compartment above your seat, that you put your mask on first before helping anyone else with their mask. Just like in life, parents, we want to put on our mask before we put the mask on our children in life also, guiding them in the right direction. But we can't help them if we're incapacitated. Also, in that safety demo kit, there will be a life vest. Certain airplanes have life vests, or we'll show you how to use the seat bottom cushion as a flotation device. Where there's an emergency landing in water, you would need that life vest, and we show you how to put that on, inflate it, and then how to get off that airplane. One of the most important things is how to exit. So you always need to look around and see where the exit is closest to your seat. In some cases, the nearest exit may be behind you. So make sure you look around and find the nearest door or window closest to your seat. So just like in life and in your business, what do you do in emergencies? Who do you turn to? Where do you go? So you need to have a plan in place beforehand. And those are the things you want to do now before you pre-launch into society. Flight attendants sit on jump seats close to the door, so we have to make sure that that seat retracts up and doesn't block the exit in an emergency. So make sure it's retractable. Also that the PA system works, the passenger address system works, so we can talk to the passengers out loud. There's also a megaphone for emergencies when that technology doesn't work. In an emergency, flight attendants will teach you how to brace position, or taught how to sit in a brace position in an emergency. So today I wanted to share a few things with you about relaunching into society and compare it to the pre-flight checklist of a flight attendant, and how those things that I check compares to the things you'll have to do as you relaunch to be more successful in your journey. Thank you so much for listening to the Normal to Formal podcast today. I hope that you learned some valuable tools to help you successfully launch back into society. Remember to slow down and grow from this experience. Please join me next Monday for another episode on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker.com, and other podcast platforms. Please subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me at Mrs. Tia Young on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Mrs. Manners on LinkedIn. I can also be reached on my website, tiayoungimage.com. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.